Ian Squires, thank you very much for joining us today, and a warm welcome to Montfort University as our new Chair of the Board of Governors. We're delighted to have you with us at DMU and are very much looking forward to working with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your career up until this point?
Interestingly, after university I decided to become a teacher, and I didn't stay being a teacher very long because I worked out that not only was I not very good at it, but it wasn't something that really drove me. But what it did do was help me identify what I did want to be, which was a journalist. So I was lucky enough to get a place on a graduate training scheme with a newspaper that sadly no longer exists. Went from there to the BBC, became a producer and director, and eventually, in the way of these things, went into management, then ran an independent production company, and then went to ITV around about 25, 26 years ago, which was what brought us to the East Midlands from London. We've been here ever since.
Thank you. So why did you take on this new role as Chair of the Board of Governors here at DMU?
Universities fascinate me, and particularly now. I remember vividly my own university experience. I've had two daughters go through university, one is still there, and I know, particularly now, how life-changing a university experience can be. Not just for the time that you are in university, but for the way, if it is successful and you're successful as a student, the way that it turns you on to learning for the rest of your life. I happily tell people I've learned much more in the last 10 years than I ever learned in 10 years of secondary and tertiary education. But I think it's university which switches you on to that, and it's the degree to which you can change course, and as the books say, be what you want to be what you can be. That's why I think it's important, particularly in a very, very competitive era like the one that we live in. We've also been in the East Midlands for the last 25 years. I'm chair at Curve down the road, so we've invested a lot of time, a lot of our lives have gone into the city, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity and a great turn. We're at a great moment where Montfort can become a leading university of the 21st century, and that's where I think we're heading.
Yes, excellent. So what do you hope to achieve in the short and long term during your tenure?
I think, to be fair, a lot has already been achieved. My predecessor, the interim chair, Lynn Hinnigan, she and the newly forming board have done a lot to get the university on track, to restore confidence, to restore trust. Immediately, we're setting about reviewing policies and processes so that we have a clear set of guidance for governance. All of that's in train now. The short-term to-do list is really quite long. We've got to go through the process of appointing a permanent vice-chancellor, which we've begun. We're also in the process of appointing more governors. We need at least 6 new people joining our board, so we're working on that, and in due course we need to appoint a new chancellor to succeed Baroness Lawrence. So there's a lot occupying our time right now. Longer term, I think, as I said just a moment ago, there's a huge opportunity for this to be a defining university in the 21st century in the way that it relates to the community, in the way that it is permeable, in the way that people can engage with the university and get the university to look both inwards at what it's doing but outwards into the wider world. That's our big chance, I think.
And how do you feel your past experiences in media and in governance roles are going to help you in your role here at DMU?
Well, television is a very collaborative business. Here we are. With respect, you're not doing this by yourself. So we have colleagues here. That's in the nature of what this business is. Broadcasting has leaders, but unless you take people with you, unless you can work in a team, you don't get anything done. And I think that's something I'm looking at very closely, about the way in which we organise and manage the board, in the way in which the board relates to the executive team and to the academics in the university. I think we need much more collaboration and association between those two elements of the university. And having chaired a number of organisations, but principally in the theatre and in the creative industries, again, you see that openness absolutely has to be the way. We work in a world where we expect people to be inquisitive, to ask questions, and we should be expecting people to be inquisitive and asking questions about what we do. Much of my life has been spent asking people questions they didn't want to answer. So I'm well used to that being the norm. And I think that sense in which we can all engage with each other to ask each other what we're doing, how it's working, why it works in this way, is absolutely to be encouraged. And that, for me, comes as second nature.
So transparency and accountability are key things we'd like to see from the Board of Governors. How will you make sure that we're set to leading in this regard?
I think it's in the way that we behave. We will demonstrate what transparency is like, about being open, about engaging. I'm going to be encouraging governors to get out there into the faculties, into the schools, to get to know deans and PVCs and other staff, so that we have a real understanding of what it is the university does. Our role is governance, it isn't management. That's done by the Executive Board, the Vice-Chancellor and the Academic Board. But unless we understand what the university does, we're not really able to debate it and offer views about its future course. We are, as I said a moment ago, developing and reviewing lots of our policies. They're all very, very clearly available on the website, so people can judge us, judge our actions against, this is what we do, is this what we said we would do? And we can be held accountable on a daily basis. We'll be quite busy, but we can be held accountable on a regular basis and measured by our actions against our intentions.
So a little bit about you away from work and away from DMU. What hobbies and passions do you have outside of work?
Well, I'm a kind of theatre devotee, really. Before Curve, I chaired Birmingham Repertory Theatre. I'm on the board of the Royal Shakespeare Company, Birmingham Royal Ballet. Curve is the 6th theatre company that I've been involved with. So I'm a bit of a lifer when it comes to that game. So I spend a lot of time. I go to a lot of shows, more shows than my wife thinks is good for me, but we do. I average more than once a week, and I'm passionate about music as well. When I left ITV, I decided that I was going to fulfil a lifetime ambition, which was learn to play the piano. And I found someone, a blessed woman, who said she would take me on, and I have lessons, and I'm chugging my way through the associated board grades. I'm not going to appear in public anytime soon, so don't ask, not going to do that. It's a fascinating exercise. How good you ever get, I don't know, but just the journey is a really important one. So I listen to a lot of music, and I've become very interested in music theory and how music works. And why is it when you hear a particular scale or a particular sequence of chords, you react emotionally or intellectually in the way that you do? That fascinates me a great deal. So, one of these days I can bore you with all of it, but I won't right now.
Thank you. Finally, you started as chairman here on the 6th of January, and I know you're frequently on campus. What are your favourite things about DMU so far?
I just love its enthusiasm. I came to an open day a couple of weeks ago. It was the Storm Dennis Day, and we still had 1,000 people in spite of the trains not running and trees being blown down and all the rest of it. And you could just feel the enthusiasm, not only from the students who are here already and who were on site, but from the staff and everyone who was assisting with that. And I think that informs a lot, and you can get through a lot with enthusiasm and commitment and real feeling. And when I was preparing for my interview for this role, I had a couple of days where I came onto campus and just walked the campus, because you can, it's nice and open. And even then, you can smell those defining qualities of DMU, and that feeling of we're really pleased to be here, we're really enjoying it. It's in the air. That's what I enjoy most.
Ian Squires, thank you very much.
Thank you.